following episode contains explicit content. You've been warned.
Guys, I'm going to say something.
This might be controversial.
I don't know how it's going to go over. You know, it's like, oh my God, dude.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got.
Good enough for government work.
Government.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Brain Snacks with Jaxon and Max. Shockingly, Dustin is here as well.
Whoop, whoop.
On camera.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is new. This is new. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
He's about to get murdered.
Yeah.
This is his last video attempt.
We've got a very temporary setup going on right now.
Also, well, I mean, yes, this is very much a mobile setup for you. Where are you at right now?
St. Louis. Yeah.
St. Louis, Missouri?
Yeah, Missouri.
Cool.
So you were out there working with Adam Calvert?
I'm just working. Yeah. Doing some work.
Okay. Cool. So the reason that we brought Dustin on is because he actually caught up on our episodes, Jaxon. So our producer is finally watching and listening to our episodes.
I've watched a few. And
not 42 of them, because that's how many of them there are.
Yeah, there's a lot. So
there's a good bit. We've been doing it for a while now.
But the reason that Dustin's here is because he was listening to our most recent remote show about the furries and fact checking the furry litter box in schools, and he had some insight. And he actually, I don't know, did you do this of your own accord? Your little extra research because you were interested?
Well, no, I just knew about it. I'm critically online, so no, I just found out, and then I saw you guys talk about it, and I was like, oh, I know about that story, and I had like extra intel, deep the lore behind it, a little.
Very interested.
So just to recap for some of the people that may not have heard the previous remote show, Joe Rogan on his podcast, which with Tulsi Gabbard, which probably reached upwards of 20 million people, he made a claim that he knew another parent that knew the teacher that installed the kitty litter box for a student that identified as a furry.
I think it was a cat. Yeah.
My kitty cat.
Get it right, man. It's a cat. She's a cat.
A furry is a furry, man.
And also recap Chrissy's awesome mic drop moment of, hey, cats don't go to school.
If you identify as a cat, you don't go to school.
Stop going to school.
So, if you want to know more about that, check out the Joe Rogan episode with Tulsi Gabbard. Or, again, we're just going to continue fact check, and actually explain how that rumor came to be. Mr. Dustin Tray, would you care to explain where you got this information from?
Basically, the very first thing that started this whole, cat litter, lie was there was a video that was posted by a teacher, and she was talking about how she was in class and they were given like a bucket and cat litter for students to go to the bathroom in if there's a long enough like lockdown or emergency going on. They were giving medical supplies and all that. And she was talking about how insane it is. Basically, it's a school shooting shit bucket,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that she was talking about how insane it is that we have to prepare for that, like in our society. And so some like really online 4chan losers like took that and cut out where she was talking about what it was for, and just spliced it together so that it sounded like she was saying, "Wow, I can't believe we're having to." They basically cut it in a way where it's implying that we have to, accommodate for furries.
Right. So this was a great troll. Like, this was an extremely successful troll.
It was extremely successful. It was spread amongst, a lot of WhatsApp group chats, and then it was spread on Facebook, to the point where like a lot of people think that in their own rural towns that there's accommodations for furries, like putting litter boxes in
Love it.
in the bathrooms, you know.
And I guess there's just enough like truth in that for the possibility for Joe Rogan to know somebody who has a child who, yes, confirmed, we talked about shitting in litter at school.
Joe Rogan knows a
And
lot of
they're like-
guys. Yeah, he brings that up a lot about the guys he knows that it was probably his group chats, if we're being real.
Possibly, yeah. I was
So-
just trying to bridge the gap there.
Yeah. He probably
So, Dustin, do you feel the way that I initially felt when I heard Joe talk about this? Not that Joe is 100% trustworthy source, because even goes, I don't know shit about shit.
Yeah, I think, if you hear something like that and you're like, you want to
But do you think it's plausible?
plausible.
That, like when you hear that, like, had you not stumbled across that thing on Reddit where people were dissecting it and talking about the lore behind this rumor of, again, furries getting litter boxes at school, would you have taken, like, had you not heard the lore, would you have heard that story and been like, yeah, I could see that actually happening?
Yeah, I mean, there could be some areas of like, but my thought would be immediately like, it's probably just one school or something, and I wouldn't imagine it's such a common thing. But after you see it so many times, spread, it's like, okay, there's got to be something going on here, like something deeper going on. It's like, and then of course there was. So I don't know.
I just think it's funny because when I initially heard about it, I didn't question it because there's so much crazy crap and so many accommodations that are being made for people that identify as this or that, want to transition at the age of 6.
Mm-hmm.
It was so outrageous.
It is weaponized a lot against trans people. It is like that
Yes.
story is the way it was worded on the one of the posts that the Redditor, or not the Redditors, the 4chan people made. It was like worded towards to weaponize against trans people, and a lot of people took that on Facebook. When in all reality, it's like most trans people just want to fucking exist. Like they worded it in like it's going in the transgender bathrooms and shit. Like
I mean I don't equate that. Had that been a true story, I wouldn't equate that to, again, somebody with a wiener going into the girls' bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't equate those two, but because everything's so politicized and everything's so sensationalized, again, I was just like, that sounds like it actually could have happened. And it wouldn't shock me in the slightest because of that.
I see that point. Like once again, my position hasn't changed much. Is this really, if you really imagine yourself in that situation, to me, it's not that interesting to think of it. It's like, it's not that wild. It is so stupid, but it's like, I saw it similar to you where I'm like, I'm not fazed by it, but I saw it more of like a nagging parent or something like that. And then, potentially higher ups in the school being like, yeah, just get this woman to shut up. Let's put a litter box in the bathroom,
Yeah.
or something like that. But that's so crazy because I can see where 4chan would have made that all kinds of twisted and to the point where like I actually found a logic for it, and that's crazy though. Because that happens like all the time about a lot of things, and we just like, if you don't stop and circle back like you did, Dustin, and circle back to it and be like, well, hold on a second, this seems fishy.
Yeah.
If you don't circle back, like every ad you hear, every this or that, every piece of knowledge can really, really get into some like dangerous territory because you start getting your little theories and stuff, and they might make a lot of sense, but they were totally based on false pretense.
And she was tackling, like, what's so frustrating about it is that she was talking about a large systemic issue, right? And then it's just taken, and her initial video that had like, very little views, is just taken advantage of and twisted in a completely different direction that had nothing to do with what she was actually addressing, which was just like, yeah, this is kind of fucked. The society we live in, like we're having to accommodate for school shootings and children having to use the bathroom under a lockdown.
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
that's the more interesting part. Like, fuck the furries. Like that part is like, oh my god, this is real. This is like where we're at. Holy shit.
Having a real visceral reaction to the reality of that versus somebody trolling by stitching it up to make it sound like she's saying something that she didn't actually say. Yeah. Again, I'm with you on that.
To be a giant douche.
I still, a giant douche. But at the same time, it's just like, it still sounds plausible regardless. I mean, and it's in the trolls' defense, they may not have set out to make it this big of a thing. They may have just been basically memeing and trolling to have fun.
Yeah.
Whereas, they should have maybe contextualized it after it started blowing up and just been like, hey, yeah, by the way, this was totally just a troll. And honestly, there are other issues that we should probably be preoccupied with, like the basis for this video that we edited down to make it sound like this.
Yeah, it got out of hand, guys.
Yeah. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to take responsibility because it's so much more fucking fun to just set the dumpster on fire and watch it burn.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, let everybody tear each other apart and just like in the background, just excellent.
Yeah. And then you can sit there and say, look at these idiots. Like they're really fucking like slopping it up. But then it's like, are they the idiots though? Because it's actually kind of in line with a lot of, it's not that far off, like where you're at with it, where you said, I'm not even fazed by that. It's like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not really spending a lot of time on it. I'm just like, oh fuck. Yeah. Okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, still just an entertainment thing,
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know if you have any news stories ready to go, but since we are doing our remote show for Thursday, I have one ready to go. Get yours ready to go.
You know what I've got, baby.
Oh, are you ready to launch it?
You know I've got the Florida man of the effing week.
Okay, now
so happy Dustin's here.
Dustin, chip in whenever you feel necessary.
All
if
right.
you don't want to be on video anymore this episode, we'll take
I'm
you
here.
out.
I'm hanging out.
No,
Okay.
Dustin's here.
Okay.
This is
I'm just saying. I'm saying that as
threesome.
far as the video goes, but yeah.
This is a threesome. All right. All right. Sarasota man accused of selling LSD to 11-year-olds. So
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
well, it actually happened in it's really fucking sad, really, but happened in July. Deputies said that it was determined she was experiencing the effects of acid, also known as LSD. Detectives began an investigation to determine where the child got the drugs. Wow. Thoughts on this? He drove to her neighborhood and provided her with weed edibles and 7 tabs of LSD. I don't know anything about how much LSD that is.
This
maybe
is
you
an
guys
11-year. This
or
is
don't
an
know.
11-year-old.
Maybe your moms are watching. You don't want to talk about your drug experiences.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never done psychedelics.
I don't know.
I've smoked it in my youth. I have smoked enough weed to actually get tracers, but that's about it.
Okay.
But more concerning is the reasoning behind him giving this 11-year-old girl.
Don't have that.
So he brought the drugs to her.
Yes, it brought it to her. Dude, I can't wait to throw a picture of this guy up. I mean, this is fucking, he looks like an anime character. Like, what the fuck?
Well, now I'm concerned with it being like some To Catch a Predator, like pedophile shit.
Well, it was like to try to be cool and probably, something that probably wasn't far off if he was doing a lot of acid himself. Like, oh yeah, everything's an illusion. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number, man. I'm not a pedophile. I'm a minor attracted person.
I'm a lover.
Again, love is not always love.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is a sex crime. I'm just saying, you like don't try to justify it or hijack somebody else's movement to make yourself seem like make it seem like it's okay for you to, try to bang an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
seriously.
Jesus.
But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
do you have a Florida man of the week? Because like that's a pretty Florida thing to do.
Dude, I don't have anything to compete with that. I don't have any Florida men of the week.
What's
Dustin,
crazy-
Justin, do you have any color commentary for that
It's
beautiful
fucked up,
piece?
all of it. So that's all I've got.
Dude, just the thought, okay? In Florida, some dude is selling fucking acid to an 11-year-old. In the
Right?
exact same moment on planet Earth, a baby is being born. It's like just the
It's the circle of life.
Like what are you coming into, baby? Like
maybe
just 11 more years and you'll get to fucking trip acid with your next door neighbor. Because he's an incel.
Oh, Jesus.
Woo! Crazy.
No, I don't have a Florida man of the week to contest for the spot. So I'll go ahead and we will give. What was this asshat's name, by the way? Surely we have a name.
I think man, I was gonna try to recall it, but I don't have it. It's
A total recall here. 3 boobs.
recall. Okay.
Sarasota
Gabriel.
douchebag.
Gabriel, so like the angel Gabriel. Jerry Lack.
Gerillac?
Dairy Lack.
Dairy lack?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's lactose
He
intolerant.
was okay. All right. It does not change anything, but I didn't realize he's not like an old fogey. He's 19, so he's still a dumbass. But
Yeah.
still, like, what is going on? Whew.
Okay, so I have
Yes.
Florida Man of the Week. Thank you, Gabriel, for being a piece of shit and giving us something to talk about. So I have it's funny headlines, and this is what I love about my Facebook news, the news portion of Facebook, is that they always pop up with the most random shit. And before I go into this ridiculous article, I would like to point out that there's not it's been so long since I've seen actual news, like unbiased, unopinionated, like here are the facts. This is everything that we know right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is opinion based, and almost every single thing in my news feed is all about the midterm elections, which will have passed by the time this episode airs. But it's all attacking either Republicans or Republicans attacking Democrats, but none of it is news. It's all just opinion based pieces. But CEO of CNN's new owner make chilling admission, says network is quote unquote leader in news to the left. Shocking revelation. This is some A+ reporting right here.
It's like you're how many steps behind, like everyone else. Well,
there's a reason that CNN's ratings have dropped, that most news stations have dropped, with the exception. I mean, Fox News dropped off there for a little bit, but honestly, it's like the was it not traditional media, the original media, news channels, news stations, even newspapers, they've all fallen off with their subscribership, with their viewership, because it's obvious that it's all just opinion-based pieces that are either backed by Big Pharma or backed by whatever Monsanto. Pick your poison with the advertisers, because they can't say anything against their advertisers. And people have finally caught on to the fact that there are biases in the media. But I just think it's ridiculous I don't even have to read the whole article, because it's why.
Like, why
everybody knows that this leader of the news to the left, and then Fox News is the counterpoint to that.
right?
And then you have MSNBC and NBC and ABC, and a lot of those are just, again,
Bedtime stories.
different branches. Fucking Well, yeah, they make me want to put myself to sleep with a fucking 12 gauge.
I'm just saying they just make people, feel however they want to feel about what's going on so they can sleep.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that news headline alone was the entirety of the story because they felt that was news worthy.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious that he imagine being the freaking guy and just being like, guys, I'm going to say something.
This might be controversial.
I don't know how it's going to go over. It's like, oh my God, dude.
So moving right along, you have something else or did you just have your Florida
I have something
man?
to touch on that a little.
Oh,
something small. I was going to
Dustin.
say you do have to do a little bit of digging to find some news outlets that are not as biased. Of course, but there are some that exist online for the most part that are funded by, supporters that watch the show.
Yeah.
Which for the most part you can, you'll get pretty straight to the point news. It's not going to be leaning one way or the other. And there's websites you can go on and look up the spectrum of, what outlet you're watching leans towards. And you can get a good understanding of what you're probably being fed, whether it's, far left or far right information.
How that the facts are twisted.
Mm-hmm. And you can, but yeah, I would highly recommend people to acknowledge that and go and look at the outlets that they watch on things like that online. And then also try to find some ones that are funded, real news outlets that have a team, that are funded by the supporters. So,
or just fucking ignore it.
Or just ignore it.
Or just ignore the news.
But if you are going to
see what happens.
If you are going to watch news and especially mainstream news, I think I would highly encourage people to at least sprinkle in a little bit of, stuff that you can find online that's very straight to the point and funded by the supporters. So
yeah, and then you get one guy who's done some digging, and then he's also just one guy, not beholding to these giants. So he's like, hey, here's a part of this thing that's my opinion. And that's where you don't get that with people who can't do that. That's the thing. It's just the nature of their beast.
Mm-hmm. Das Beast. Das News Beast. Do you have another one, Jaxon?
Well, I was going to add, I have one, but I just kind of glanced at it, and it was like, what the hell? I didn't know if you maybe know about Paul Pelosi.
Thank you for bringing it up. No. By all means, proceed, sir.
Yeah, the suspect that was charged. Someone just ring my doorbell.
I would like to point out that this is the second time that Paul Pelosi has been at the scene, hammered at the scene of a crime.
Yeah, someone just rang my doorbell. I don't know if I should go check it or not, or what.
Was that over that over the head? Y'all didn't catch that one?
I didn't even hear you.
Hammered at the scene of a crime.
Oh,
when he got a DUI. He was arrested for DUI. He was hammered.
Oh my gosh!
And then Paul Pelosi got hit in the head with a hammer. Hammered.
Whoa! Someone actually hit him in the head with a hammer?
Yeah, that's the story.
Oh, like I said, I just glanced at it.
Okay.
No, I was going to ask you what you knew about it.
Okay, so I will brief you because I read up on this already while I was on the road this weekend. So this guy, Paul, so CBS, CNN, all the news outlets have spun this to make it look like it was an attack on Pelosi, and they immediately equated it to January 6th, which this guy was like an aging hippie, like super liberal, lives in the Bay Area, so San Francisco, probably voted Democrat most of his life. And apparently he was just fed up with Nancy. And the fact that they're making such a big deal about the security issues. So this asshat managed to break into the Pelosi home with two hammers, gave Paul Pelosi a hammer while going around screaming, "Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy?" Paul Pelosi managed to call the cops. Cops show up. Guy freaks out, hits Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. Now, the conspiracy minded side of me is going, now, Nancy Pelosi, probably soulless. but no matter where she started out in life, she as a politician, she has definitely evolved into something that is just a fucking power hungry maniac. And that's my opinion. I'm not going to present that as a fact, but I wouldn't put it past her to be fed up with Paul's shit to the point where she hires this fucking guy.
You think?
I'm not saying this is what happened, but like in a conspiracy world that I live in,
Yeah.
my thoughts are that Paul Pelosi showed his ass one too many times and embarrassed her one too many times, but she doesn't want to kill him, but he has to be taught a lesson, a very public lesson.
I could see
And that lesson is you don't buy in too big and make too much money with the insider stock trading tips. And you don't get pulled over after you've been drinking.
Yeah.
Because he's been the black sheep of the Pelosi campaign for like the last 6 years.
Right. Yeah.
Everything bad. Love or hate Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, but she has been just like trolled by all the Republicans and all the QAnon kids because Paul Pelosi keeps fucking around and getting caught doing stupid shit.
Yeah, I mean, all these fucking assets, man. They just go in there, and they make $150,000 a year, but they live in,
multi-million-dollar.
Yeah, $10 million homes. So, like, what's up with that?
Yeah, special interest groups, man. You're making money hand over fist. But what I think is amusing is that now they're making this big push for added security, not just for because Nancy Pelosi wasn't home, so her security detail wasn't with her. Because, I mean, keep in mind, Nancy Pelosi is third in line for the presidency. But there's no real security, at least not government-funded security, for the family members of people in Congress and Senate. And now they're arguing that they need to have that. But here's the ridiculousness of this story, which makes me go, maybe it's not what it seems and what they're reporting, is because this guy is in his underwear when he breaks into the house. So he scales a fence in a gated community, manages to get past 6 guard dogs, security dogs, breaks the back glass of the door. And again, he carried 2 hammers with him. And then he gave hammers, Paul Pelosi one of the hammers.
To do what? What are they going to do? Like fucking do a
battle royale.
Dude, hell yeah.
Battle royale. I don't know.
That's called street justice, I think.
But are you telling me that Paul Pelosi didn't like this guy was like super ninja in his underwear, probably high as a kite, and managed to break into the house before Paul Pelosi and got the drop on Paul Pelosi before he could call the cops?
All right.
Because apparently Paul Pelosi called the cops while he was looking for Nancy. And basically kind of holding him hostage with the fucking hammer after he gave Paul Pelosi a hammer.
It's crazy, man. I just,
like I said,
I just saw it and it piqued my interest, but I didn't actually like go into it because it was actually just like really right before we started. But
no, again, this is our second recording of the day, so I'm no worries, man. But I just think it's the meme. There's been a couple of memes going around, a couple of people saying that exact saying that I said. So this is the second time that Paul Pelosi, the police have arrived at the scene, and Paul Pelosi's been hammered. One when he got a DUI, the second when he got hit in the head with a fucking hammer. Yep. I just thought it was funny.
Now all he needs to do is get busted listening to Cannibal Corpse.
Yes. Well, and the reason I can say that and I can laugh about it is not because Paul Pelosi got hit in the hammer. It's because Paul Pelosi is okay. He had surgery. He had a fractured skull, but it's repaired. Doctors expect him to make a full recovery. So I don't care who you are. That's just fucking funny.
Yeah. It's
He's
like
just
karma.
Hammered, perpetually hammered.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
What you got, man? You got anything else?
I've got some more. I have, so More than 7,000 fake IDs seized by CBP officers in 2 weeks. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. And these are Customs Border Patrol.
Okay.
Right? So these shipments seized this week reportedly contained fake driver's licenses for several states all over the country. For the third time in less than 2 weeks, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol have seized thousands of counterfeit driver's licenses shipped from overseas. They're coming from China.
Mm.
And these are extremely good fake IDs. Like they have the holograms and everything, different addresses. And most of the fake IDs were for college age students, authorities said, but not all. The states included in the fake IDs were California, Ohio, Georgia, Connecticut, Wisconsin, New York, New Jersey, Indiana, Minnesota, Iowa, and Michigan. All of these driver's licenses were concealed inside a shipment manifested as postcards to avoid detection. Now, how many college kids are going to order their fake IDs from China?
Yeah, most of them are like, hey, I know a guy.
Or I can make them. I mean,
Yeah.
Photoshop is a magical tool.
Yeah.
But what is the purpose of all these fake IDs? Do we want to stay with conspiracy theories?
You do it, dude. Come on, dude.
Ballot harvesting.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
Plausible.
Midterm elections are coming up, or you can have the same person vote in multiple states.
That's true. Now, but is
Somebody registered in Kentucky can get to most of those states that I just listed
but that's something that's pretty
within 3 or 4 hours, and then you go to a polling place and you're voting twice in the same election.
right. But that's kind of crude. That's a crude way to do it, though, right?
I mean, yeah, that's like a seriously overcomplicated way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you would think something that high profile.
But I mean,
that's
most
like
yeah. But most of the claims of voter fraud are like relatively complicated. And I say relatively complicated. How determined is somebody to fucking fake a vote, or how determined is somebody to steal a vote?
right.
It depends
But with
on your
everything-
motivations.
But with everything being digital, like I personally couldn't see that being a reason. I would just think that like that would be too like obvious.
What do you
know?
mean? What do you mean digital?
Like, don't we? Electronic. Don't we just cast our ballots electronically?
No. And in some cases,
They're just
and
counted
in
electronically.
certain states, they don't even require identification.
Okay.
So you don't have to have proof of U.S. citizenship to vote in some of these states. Now that's a whole other can of worms. But the problem with like some of these fake IDs is, like I said, you can vote twice in the same election in 2 different states. And I mean, in the previous election, there were a couple of swing states where Mr. President Joe Biden won by just a couple thousand votes.
Right. So someone could like get real people and their information just transferred to like a different state. Right.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And I mean,
my little conspiracy dude.
well, they typically they scan. I don't even remember if they scanned my ID when I went to vote. I'm going to go vote tomorrow, again, 2 days prior to this episode, so I can vote in the midterm elections, which I'm probably just going to tick independents all the way down because nobody's worth a shit anymore. But it's still, I don't remember them scanning my license. I remember them looking at it and verifying my address, and then they handed me my paper, and then I filled in my bubbles. And then I put it in the Scantron thing,
Mhm.
and that's when it's digitized.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I guess they're counted electronically. I guess I wasn't aware, and I would think that would be the place where you want to manipulate, in a slick way, is just the counting, just the number.
Yeah, well, there were definitely some of those. Well, not. I'm not going to say that happened because there's no legitimate proof of it without actually seeing bare code and having an analyst work on it and work through it.
True.
But it is possible, and to say that there was no possibility of it, that's the one thing. Okay, so no, all conspiracy theories aside, and just, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, but this needs to be like, everybody should be okay with questioning a fucking election, because the Democrats did it with Trump in 2016 with Russian collusion, which was proven to be a lie. And then again, now we have the Republicans saying the same thing. A lot of Republicans saying the same thing about the 2020 election. Both elections had some screwy stuff that went on. Okay. What I don't understand is why, if we wanted free and open elections and we want to talk about voting rights and this and that and the other, and everybody wants to harp on this, that, and the other, it's so fucking easy for both parties, if they really wanted the truth, to come together, do a joint press conference and be big boys and growed ups and go, hey, look, my esteemed colleague and the challenger to my seat, or, the challenger in this election, there's no reason why he shouldn't be allowed to contest this. And because it looks like there may have been some fuckery, we will do a joint investigation, a bipartisan investigation into these claims, rather than writing it off immediately and going straight to you're a crazy conspiracist.
Yeah, trust us. Yeah.
As soon as somebody tells me to trust them, I'm just going, wait.
Don't you see this American seal of officiality? You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Trust us. Lick this boot.
Yeah. Here, and a problem that people have with politicians and celebrities, and we think that they couldn't do this and they wouldn't do this, is because we are projecting our own values and morals onto people that we look up to as leaders or administrators or people perceived to have power or influence. We project what we think of ourselves and what we think is right and wrong onto those people. Those people don't necessarily have our same beliefs, but because they say something that resonates with us, we automatically think that they have the same morals and thoughts that we do.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's how you end up continuing the cycle of manipulation.
Yeah,
that is the voter. That is the political game of the United States.
It's the game of all manipulation. I mean, watch a commercial for coffee, and it's like this, ideal morning, and everything's kind of dreamy, and but it's like, but really, like, if they weren't going to be able to sell you coffee, like, they wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're saying, oh yeah, that's what it's like when I drink my coffee, and it's this certain brand. It's like, they know that's something.
Definitely know that's something.
Yeah, they know that's something that they can just say and portray to us. And I mean, obviously that's really that's really rudimentary, but yeah.
And I just it's ridiculous. I don't understand why well, I understand it because we're just so fucking busy, and our life has been designed to keep us distracted and to consume media like TikTok. There's a reason that TikTok is like the biggest app on the motherfucking planet. It's because it gives you all the bright and shiny things that you want to pay attention to. And then it goes right to the next video without giving you a second to pause and even think about what you just watched or consumed.
I know, right? Like, my girlfriend watches fucking The Bachelor, and she had that shit on the other day. And
Nicole, why?
All I did was count how many seconds before a change happened in the flip. It's like, and it was like 4 seconds. Every 4 seconds, it was a dramatic this and that.
Camera angle change, zoom in, zoom out.
This and that. Every 4 seconds. And they're like talking about all these emotions and, oh my God, like connection and all this stuff. And it's like, but you're just overwhelmed by this whole speed of it. You're just like, and that's where you can get dragged along, and it kind of becomes kind of fun for your mind to chew on, because you're like, oh yeah, what about it? Ooh, what about it? What about it? And you can never fully just be like, oh yeah, you fucking idiot. You're just a weird psychopath that went on a reality show thinking you're gonna find love. Like, if it was single cam, you'd be like, oh, these people are stupid.
What is that? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way that media is presented to us now, because there's such a competition for our attention.
All right.
And, you know, we've even talked about in the future making some shorter videos and even some spoofy comedy skits. And I think that's going to be good for us, not just for opening up to a new and different audience base, but also just as an outlet for us, so that we don't have to feel like we have to be serious all the time with this show.
Yeah, it's not serious. It's just like being aware of like what your, like where your attention is at any given moment. Like,
yeah.
You know?
So yeah, outside of that, I mean, I have so many things saved. There was one more that's not political. Well, I mean, everything can be politicized. So yeah, but we're not going to politicize. I'm not going to politicize this. You can if you want to.
Dustin is.
Well,
Dustin, yeah.
You can try.
Okay. Okay. Challenge, and then challenge accepted. So he just accepted the challenge. So you have to make this political now.
All right.
That's going to be your part for this next story. So according to BuzzFeed News, Katy Perry had to address the viral video of her eye twitching after fans suggested that she appeared to be paralyzed, and they expressed concern for her. Or maybe she's a robot. Katy Perry is a robot. Because she was doing a performance and like her eye got jacked up and like
got stuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stuck closed.
Maybe you should see a doctor.
So, Dustin, my question to you is, how do you justify Katy Perry being an agent of an elite pedophile ring run by the Democrats?
Wait, is that where this went? Like,
no, that's where I went with it.
Oh, okay.
That's not the BuzzFeed
he was
article.
Superimposing that on top.
I was going to say the most politicalness I can get out of it is like she having some kind of like stroke and people being like, I don't know, it's like fake. It's meant to deter you or something. I don't know. No,
it was. It's not. There's nothing political about it. No, however, in almost every single conspiracy theory out there, like she's part of the Illuminati because she does stuff like this.
She's not a real person.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Again, is she a robot? Is she a lizard? Well, I mean, her eye getting all jacked up. She could be a lizard person, and the lizard people control the politicians, and there's the political connection.
Dude, you just spoke.
I don't know. I don't know.
That speaks to me, dude.
You know, I aim to please.
I am moved,
and look,
baby.
I'm saying Katy Perry is allegedly part of the pedophile elite.
I saw her
and Lady Gaga. I
bet. I saw something about her. It was an article written up that said Katy Perry addresses claims of being mistaken for Katy Perry. I was like, okay. All right.
Oh, there's an actress that looks almost identical to Katy Perry. I forget her name.
That's so funny.
She did was it the New Girl? The New Girl television series?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't know.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Zooey Deschanel?
Yes. Zooey Deschanel and Katy Perry. I've never I don't actively follow either one of these people, but I've never seen them together in a photograph.
Just like Morgan Freeman and Jimi Hendrix, baby.
There's another one. Hot damn. So yeah, that doesn't have to be a political thing. I just thought it was funny that people were just like, so some people were concerned about Katy Perry's health because of the eye getting jacked shut. And then there were some of the conspiracy theorists out there. And again, not all conspiracy theories are created equal or have merit and weight. Some people are just fucking crazy, and some people just like to fucking troll. I like to troll, but also I like to it's entertaining, it's fun, and every once in a while you'll stumble across an actual fucking conspiracy, to take over the world.
Yeah, like humans we actually live for 500 years, but the way we've been living for so long, we only live for 80.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a future episode.
That's
Very cool.
intriguing.
That is neat.
If we lived optimally, we'd live for 500 years, but we just we don't know what that means, how to live optimally.
We're going to have to, yeah. Okay. So you do your damn research on that, because I need a lesson on this.
Okay.
You know how much I love my conspiracy theories.
I just saw a meme. That's all happened. It was
Well,
just a meme.
now
but it makes sense. I'm like, okay.
But
I'm
now
interested.
you're responsible for it.
There's,
All right.
there
You
could
were
be-
you were now 100% responsible for that.
there
Sounds
could
good.
be something to tap into there. I mean, is it true that we only use like a certain percentage of our brain that we just haven't tapped into? Like
That is an
70%.
inaccurate. Okay, supposedly this could be the elites again, conspiracy wise, fucking with our heads so that we never realize our full potential, and that we don't contact the interdimensional aliens. But supposedly that we only use 15% of our brains. It's not that we're only using a small section of our brain. We're using our entire brain, but we can only process 15% at a time. So whether we're going between information, memories that we're recalling or processing and currently recording new memories and conversations, there's only so much data
well, that
that you
makes
can
sense.
pull. You can pull at one time.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense than the mystery of like not, your
ever
brain.
using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's insane. So yeah, that's
Which is,
cool.
again, running up to Elon Musk with Neuralink, we can get to the point where we can upgrade our RAM. Like we turn ourselves into computers if we can upgrade our RAM, and then maybe we can use all like left brain, right brain.
But there's also
memory.
There's there's also something called the corpus callosum, which is the strip that connects the two hemispheres.
Mhm.
And people, all these like yogis and meditators or whatever, they've got thick ones, and most of us have thin ones.
I bet
And-
you've got a thick one.
No, not
Let me
yet.
see it.
But we all can. This is the important thing. This is actually a recent discovery. We've always known that people who meditate, that they have thicker corpus callosum, their right and left brains basically talk to each other more often. But we weren't sure if it was like just correlated or if it was causal. But we've now determined that it's actually because of the practice. So over time it strengthens and thickens.
So the brain is so they're working, these yogis and whatnot are meditating, and by the act of meditating, they are essentially working out
Over time, yeah.
that connection between the left and right side of the brain.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And that's like fairly new. Like that's just something that we've determined now. Science, that's what we know.
okay. We need to make notes of this.
So
We need to make notes of this.
and that's it. Well, but that was to your point about the RAM, upgrading your RAM, because
So
some people think
so we don't
that,
need a
like-
hardware upgrade. We can do a self upgrade.
Right, yeah, that's the whole
Potentially.
thing. It's like potentially, yeah, like because your right characteristically your right brain is going to be your recall of more inspired things, things that you actually
creativities.
Yeah, with just things like you, instead of being in a problem, you can now kind of zoom out and be more around it and under it and on top of it, and just like kind of think around it to actually solve the thing, which in a way is kind of like upgrading your RAM or whatever.
Okay,
So
very cool,
'cause
man.
it's in the moment.
Dude, you need to read. Okay, there's your basic lightweight homework assignment for you, Jackson. I need more memes from you that spin off into really awesome conversations.
All right, like it.
Dustin, you are going to have to start engaging in the remote shows a little more often.
I'm down.
Because it was a joy to have you here, man.
And everybody, do us a favor. Put out some positive vibes and some love. Show some love for our other producer, Andrew in Trekken, which I neglected to hit him up about shooting today. But again, I'm just running myself ragged. No excuses. I'm an asshole for that.
I think he was down in Florida, like hanging out with some 11-year-old or something.
Oh,
Ah, just kidding, Andrew. Love you.
I thought that's his Andrew's alter ego is Gabriel. But no, Andrew was in a car accident last week, the end of last week. His car is totaled. He's okay. He sent me pictures of him in a neck brace when he was in the hospital. But he's okay. He's a little sore, a little stiff. When you get rear-ended,
Get your wig
rammed,
pushed in.
he had his tailpipe pushed in a little bit.
Dude, wasn't
but he's
like,
he is doing okay though. But let's hope for a quick and speedy resolution to what is sure to be some kind of lawsuit, because it was an 18-wheeler that hit him.
oh my God.
So, but again, Andrew's fine.
Good deal.
But let's hope for a speedy recovery and a speedy resolution for our very dear and beloved producer, Andrew. So with that, guys, unless you have anything else to add, I think we can shut this bitch down for the day.
Sign off, baby. Thank you guys for tuning in.
We love you. We hope that you've had a great week, and we will see you next Thursday. Please make sure to go to brainsnackspodcast.com, sign up for our newsletter if you're on the podcast apps. Make sure that you're subscribed, leave us a rating, any rating, and leave us a review. It helps with the algorithms, and we need the algorithms. And if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let us know how terribly off you think I am on this stuff. Because I'm very opinionated, and I am not presenting anything as news. I'm presenting everything I have to say as my own personal opinion. My opinions do not necessarily reflect those of the Brain Snacks with Jaxon and Max podcast community.
Decency. That's called human decency, everybody.
Guys, try not to suck. Don't be inconsiderate asshats. And we are 3 confident idiots saying, go forth and don't be a dick. All the love in the world, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
Take care, everyone. Ooh, that thing.
We're going to leave that in for sure.
Okay, I'm ending the recording now.
Come on, pretty baby, suck my balls all night.